Welcome to AQMD On the Air. I'm your host, Lior Alpern. Our guest today is Dr. Maria Cecilia Loschiavo dos Santos, a philosopher and an associate professor of design at the School of Architecture and Urbanism and co-director of the graduate program on environmental sciences both at the University of San Paulo in Brazil. She got her MA at the University of San Paulo Philosophy and Aesthetics in 1975 and her PhD at the University of San Paulo Philosophy in Aesthetics in 1993. She was a visiting scholar in postdoctoral programs at the following universities around the world: the University of California, Los Angeles School of Public Policy and Social Research, 1995 to 1996, University of Campinas, Brazil, Institute of Philosophy and Human Sciences, 1997, Nihon University, Tokyo, College of Design and Arts in 1999, and the Canadian Centre for Architecture in Montreal in 2001. She has published many articles in Brazilian design magazines and international academic conferences. She is the author of several books, among them Mulher Moderno no Brasil. She is a scientific consultant for Brazilian research agencies and as a critical reviewer for the main design conferences across the world. She is also deeply committed to design and social responsibility issues and is a screenwriter of the documentary movie Imahem de Imahem, on the fringes of San Paulo homelessness, which concentrates on the themes such as social exclusion, unemployment, alcoholism, insanity, religiousness, contemporary public spaces, urban degradation, identity, and citizenship. This film was officially selected for the San Paulo Short Film Festival in 2002, and the film was awarded the Best Documentary Film at the Grimaldo Film Festival in 2003. From 2007 to 2008, she was a visiting scholar at the School of Public Affairs, Department of Urban Planning at UCLA. Dr. Cecilia, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
For our viewers, could you please give us a little bit of your background, and especially your work on solid waste and on urban poverty in Sao Paulo?
So my background, I have a degree in philosophy, master and PhD, and I came to UCLA in 1995 for a postdoctoral program at the School of Public Affairs, Department of Urban Planning.
You just came from our meeting of the Environmental Justice Advisory Group that we have here at AQMD. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the environmental justice issues you're confronting in Brazil and how they're related to what you heard are happening here?
So, living in a global situation, we share a lot of problems. We have common problems. And being at the advisory group today, it was really relevant to see how in California you are facing the problems that we have and building a bridge between academia and citizens, California citizens. That's a very important lesson that I'm bringing back to Brazil, to San Paulo municipality, in order to enhance the civil participation in the mitigation of environmental problems that we have in San Paulo. And this lesson will be very important.
It sounds like we've got a lot of similarities between San Paulo specifically and Los Angeles, both in terms of our population and the high temperatures and the amount of air pollution. Tell us a bit about these similarities, please. So
these similarities are related to our contemporary way of life when we use cars in a prevalent manner, and where we generate pollution to the environment from different sources. And unfortunately, I think these are similarities that we are sharing right now. But I think that once we have this organization, such as AQMD, you know, it's a good way of facing the problems in order to overcome. That's what Brazil can learn, São Paulo especially can learn from California. And of course, these lessons, they will be replicated inside the university, because we have many students at the University of São Paulo, and young generation is passionate and committed to overcome environmental problems. And once I teach at architecture school, and I teach design to architects, they are so creative and imaginative in order to bring new tools, you know, to overcome environmental problems that we are facing.
Well, here at AQMD, of course, we're in a position of having to prepare plans in order to utilize the tools, such as those you just mentioned, and to get us on a path to ultimately clean up the air and meet these national air quality standards that are set for us here by the federal government. You in San Paulo are in the process of developing plans, and please share with us the plan that you mentioned about San Paulo 2040 and your work as the environmental specialist on that.
Yes, we are in San Paulo also improving the condition of air quality through a diversity of measures and regulations. But step by step we are growing and you know, facing the problem. But not only air pollution, other issues that we are trying to improve the environmental condition of São Paulo municipality. These concerns brought the opportunity for a plan that is Plan São Paulo for 2040. And a group of professors from University of São Paulo from different areas were invited to take part in that project, and we are discussing 5 areas: environment, and we are discussing transportation, and we are discussing land use, housing, and environmental economy. So we are discussing these areas together, professors from different background, and we will present by the end of 2011 a proposal for the municipality of São Paulo. And this presentation will be built together with the citizens of São Paulo City. And that's why I reiterate, it's so important being here and following the work of AQMD and this advisory group in a public meeting you just had today, Friday, the 28th of January.
Thank you. We're very interested in getting a copy of that report when it's ready.
My pleasure.
You had mentioned your work at UCLA, now for several years with the Urban Planning Department of the School of Public Affairs. Tell us a little more about that and also some of the upcoming work you're going to do.
Yes, I came here in 1995 with a scholarship from a Brazilian agency, FAPESP, in order to enhance methodological issues of research on homelessness in global cities. So at that time I was looking at the phenomenon of homelessness in São Paulo, Los Angeles and Tokyo, and then we add Paris to that project. And of course I got access to important reference and work of specialists on homelessness here in America, especially in California, in UCLA, and also in USC. And that was very important, and my research led to the publication of another thesis. Is the associate professor thesis. It's another thesis after PhD, called The Seeds of Plastic and Cardboard. And part of my research, I had a show at the UCLA Fowler Museum of Cultural History in 1999, and where I showed a little bit the results of my work. So the problem is that homelessness in Brazil is very linked to a process of solid waste recovery done by these very poor communities of homeless. And this community, step by step, they started a new process of engagement with solid waste, of, let's say, trash picker. They don't want to that we call them trash pickers because they don't consider what they are working to be trash. They consider recyclable material. Okay, and then I start a new research on this community that we call catadores, collectors, and this is a work that I'm doing now. Also, I'm teaching a course on design for sustainability at the School of Architecture with these collectors, and I receive many different groups of students from Europe, from Asia, and also from UCLA, with Professor Paul Wong, that generously invited me to join AQMD meeting today. And this is very important for students, especially for designers and architects.
In terms of the environmental justice efforts going on in San Paulo, what have you seen as far as methods, and the other cities you mentioned as well, where we're able to engage the public and get them to be proactive in the efforts that we have to clean the air?
Yes, that's a very important point. To have the support of the community is absolutely, you know, the key point in order to get the success of policies, and also in order to put in practice this huge amount of knowledge that we accomplish inside academia. You know, in San Paulo, we are still improving this communication. Students, of course, they are very committed to this issue. They are trying different kinds of devices of communication, from large-scale communication, such as how to communicate from the urban environmental condition, you know, for example, to have devices in the city or to have digital media in the city that communicates the situation of the air pollution, or the water quality of our rivers, or different aspects. Students are trying to develop projects. I myself, I'm mentor of important research that students are conducting in different issues, but all of them related to environmental justice and design and architecture. You know, you cannot imagine how passionate they are trying to find a solution, for example, the reuse of material in civil construction. You know, they want to find new materials and new ways, just reusing the material that was thrown away. They want to find solutions of communication. They want to use digital media in different status for the improvement of environment. So I think we are trying to do our best in order to have a better world in the future. Actually, this is the main definition of sustainability. The Brundtland report that first time came with the concept of sustainability says that we need to ensure future generations the same conditions that we had, you know. So we cannot consume all the planet right now, because we have to be committed to the future. And there is no better manner to be committed to the future than working on education with youth people, with this younger generation.
You had mentioned the plan in San Paulo for 2040. A few years before that, in 2016, the Olympic Games will be coming to Rio. Are you aware of planning for those games and looking at environmental mitigation for the impacts of the games?
So, of course, in Rio de Janeiro, they are working very hard in order to ensure a good quality and a good standard of environment for the time of the Olympic Games. I don't know in detail how they are planning right now, but for sure they are doing, you know, they are using all the effort they can do in order to have a successful event in Rio de Janeiro. And I am sure that this will be wonderful, and Rio de Janeiro is such a, you know, treasure in terms of landscape and a very vivid atmosphere for this kind of game.
Here in the South Coast Air Basin, most of the air pollution is coming from transportation sources, especially from the movement of goods through our ports and through the region to the rest of the nation.
Yes.
About 40% of the nation's goods for the whole United States are coming through our ports. I wonder if you could share with us a little bit about what you've seen on the transportation side in Brazil, both in terms of how much it's contributing to air pollution and some of the alternative fuels and new technologies that are being used in order to reduce its impact in Brazil.
So I think we share exactly the same problem in San Paulo, because the same way you have Los Angeles as the main harbor for the U.S., San Paulo is Santos is located in Santos in San Paulo state, is the main harbor for our country. So it's a point of distribution and of entry of goods for our economy and also exportation. And that is a very serious problem that we have. What we are having exactly now in São Paulo city, we have a kind of system called rodízio. You know, rodízio is something that according to the plate of your car, you cannot drive your car from 7 to 10 and from a.m. and from 5 to 8 p.m. You are not allowed to drive your car in a certain metropolitan area of São Paulo city.
Okay.
And also for trucks, we are having certain restrictions of driving during weekdays. So we are trying, you know, to do our best. But let me tell you, Leon, our problem is also that we need to change our way of life. We need to give up our comfort of a single person using his or her car, and maybe to use a bicycle if possible, or walk a little bit, or get the subway. We need to offer different kinds of public transportation, and maybe to rethink our comfortable way of life and pollution emission every single day in a daily basis, you know. We need to rethink, we need to change. There are some possibilities. Maybe we can use rented cars, maybe we can have public bikes for renting, like we have in Paris, for example, and it works so well. Of course, the topography in Paris is completely flat, is easier to use. But I think step by step we will mitigate the problems, because we want youth people to keep alive and to have a better standard of life.
Well, one example that I know of where Brazil has taught us a lesson is the city of Curitiba.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually, about a decade ago, had a group of representatives from Los Angeles who went down to travel there and ride the bus system. And now we have bus rapid transit that is operating here in Los Angeles with more lines being built. Could you share a bit about what is the transit system in Curitiba?
Yes, Curitiba had, you know, the fortune with a mayor, an architect, not Jorge Wilhelm, oh dear, now it's an architect that was the mayor and the main guy for this experience of you know, sustainable Curitiba. And they got different experience from transportation to solid waste, and also in the area of solid waste, they start a very interesting museum of trash, where you can go and you can find a kind of archaeology of different, you know, objects that the city used in certain period of its history. So I think that Curitiba is a very important experience. Of course, the scale, the urban scale is much, you know, different than San Paulo, but we can learn a lot. Another experience that we have in Brazil as a whole that is worth to stress is the fuel, the biofuel. Okay, so for a long time, scientists of my university, of University of San Paulo, and other state universities from San Paulo, they started this commitment to, you know, design and develop a fuel out of sugarcane. Now, we have this alcohol that's completely routine of use in our country. And that is really very important to São Paulo and to Brazilian economy, especially because we needed to consider that in South America we have Amazon. Amazon is not only Brazilian and not only for Southern Americans, is a treasure for the planet. And this commitment to sustainable issues in Brazil, you know, is a way of taking care of the forest and its culture and all the resource and the diversity that we have there. Some of them we still don't know.
Yeah, we've had some forest fires here in the South Coast Air Basin, and AQMD has been investing in reforestation in order to replace all those trees that we've lost, and they're very important in cleaning the air that we breathe. Before we close, any last themes that you would like our viewers to know in terms of the challenges that you have in Brazil, the same as we have here, and also how they can get involved in helping clean the air?
So I think we have all together to be involved. Sometimes this involvement will be so small, you know, in a small scale, maybe in your own house. But let's do that, because sustainability starts on each one of, you know, the persons that are our audience right now. It starts with us, with our daily life, maybe at home, maybe at a work environment, maybe at the school, and we can do and we can change.
Dr. Cecilia, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on our show and hearing about the similarities and the challenges that we're facing both in Brazil and here in the South Coast Air Basin. Please come visit us again.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure for me also.
Thank you.
Bye.
And that's our show. Thank you for watching AQMD on the Air. Visit cleanairconnections.org to find out how you can help us clean the air that we breathe.
Let's work together.